How's it going, YouTube? We're back once again with TommyTricks after another successful run on the Jesmon package. What was your placement at Liverpool this year?
It was 22nd out of 185.
Very nice. All right, so it's a little bit different to the last Jesmon we saw, a little bit more teched out.
Yeah, a lot of thought and preparation has gone into like 2 months worth of meticulous testing. Some of it paid off, some of it didn't, but yeah, overall I was very happy with the build itself, which we can just get into now if you want.
Yeah, let's go for it.
Good. So, we start off with the eggs for Sistermons. This is probably the first big thing whether like it deviates from the original build. So before the event, after the event, I looked at the builds that also like people playing Jesmon. The 4 players that were also on playing Jesmon were playing the Craniamon egg, which is the draw 1 and 6k. I think that was the egg itself is okay, but from what me and Jamie tested, because Jamie was pretty much on the same build as me, we found that the extra memory gain from Sistermons when you have the GX is so much more valuable, because it effectively makes your GX cost 3 instead of 4. So you choke easier, it becomes a lot more memory efficient. 9 times out of 10 when you're swinging with the GX, you're popping off anyway. So you don't really need the extra 1 draw. You can do with the extra memory to sort of like, if you need to either put them to memory set or choke them to 1, or even keep turn in some instances, Sistermons is just a lot more valuable for you in the long run, in my opinion. Yeah. So that was the eggs. Also, just going to get on camera. Shout out to Kayla Muriel Arts, great sleeves. Unfortunately, I couldn't run them for the event, but for the deck list at the very least, why not? Link out the sleeves. Because the artwork is fantastic, by the way. So, 4 Searcher Hookmon, 4 BT13 Hookmon, and then 2 Jellymon. I have not set this out very well, I do apologise. Searcher Hookmon's pretty self-explanatory. Search is 5, adds 2. It's a shame it doesn't add Gankumon, but at the same time, Royal Knight's Mega Zoo exists, and searching 5 for 2 for free cost is not something I would like to imagine them having access to. But yes, great search for the deck. Jellymon, I'm going to mention Jellymon first because I want this to be a bit of a focal point. The Jellymons were kind of an MVP for me. He's one of the, I'm going to call him swings and roundabout cards. He was originally in there for Royal Knights. I did not face a Royal Knights player, despite being worried about them. I did, however, fight Blue Flare, where he was a lot more relevant and soloed the matchup for me. So, on the one hand, he didn't show up for Royal Knights to appear. On the other hand, it won me against Blue Flare, which is pretty good, all things considered. And then the BT13 Hookmon. So these are the new rookies that got introduced with BT13. When I first saw them on Reveal, I was mostly like, imagine I'm doing this. I'm only looking at the bottom text, because the bottom text gain memory awesome. Then it's like, as I'm testing with the deck further, just hard dropping this for free, and either passing turn with it, or if you're like just before you do your full bombo, it's so powerful, because all you do is you put this out. If your opponent doesn't deal with it, unlucky, I am going to evolve for 0, then for 1, then for 1, whilst also gaining memory for doing my regular combo. If it dies, also unlucky. You have committed to killing it. I am now going to crack back at you. It's such a good bait card, and at its very worst, you just put it out before you're about to combo, and then you have a level 4 or level 5 ready to go next turn, as well as your regular stack. Even better as well, if you get a level 4 and the Sistermon, you jog-rest it and you refresh the effects of the memory gain, and all of a sudden you have a second stack, which is 2 memory gain, and then whatever's in your bin. So save your hook, you've got basically a second stack. Perfect stack from there. Very good card. Level 4s. We'll do the Sistermons at the end because they're sort of like a separate entity within themselves. 4 BT13 Bow Hookmon, 4 BT6 Bow Hook. BT13 Bow Hook, pretty much the same sort of reasoning with BT13 Hookmon. Initially, I saw the bottom text, read the top text, and thought, hey, that's a good effect as well, I should probably use that. evolving for 1. It's more so for when you use the Evo seal effect. So you can sort of, from a level 4 position, if you're slow, you hard play the BT10 CL, you then evolve for 1 into a Savior, and then for whatever the cost for a Jesmon, and then you just sort of turbo your way up to level 6, and sometimes even level 7 if you have like the notes. You pay a gigaton amount of memory for it, but sometimes your opponent just does not have an answer to it, and you go wide enough that it can sometimes be worth it if your opponent doesn't have an answer to it. It's very relevant. The BT6 Bellhookmon, pops for 5k, good floodgates, floodgates. Not too much to say about it, other than works very well with Chimeramons. Yeah. Level 5. 1 limited Savior, 1 starter deck, 4 BT13, and then we'll include the 2 Chimeras. Again, just a very good card. The warp effect is so useful. Evolving over this in Raising feels a lot better than evolving this, because you lose a when Digivolving effect to it, which attack unsuspended isn't that great in general. But to then evolve over a level 4 with a passive effect means at any moment you can promote, hard play a Sistermon for like a CL for 4, gain 2 off of the BT13 inherits, and then a further 1 if you're playing the BT6 one, and then evolve for 1 into Savior. So it means you only need 1 Master to Disciple to evolve for 0 cost into a Jesmon, and all of a sudden you're like a level 6 and 1 Sistermon. So it's like 1 additional Sistermon on the field, which you can use for blocking, you can use for, it has like DP gain, it's just very useful. Or if you have to swing with a Jesmon to play out a second body to then Chimeramon, very useful. I'll move you to one side. A lot of people that I read about like playing Jesmon were sort of like iffy on this card. I think playing this card, even as a one-off, even though it's Saki, and I'm conflicted about it being unlimited, but we'll get to that later. I think having access to it means at any point, if you're stuck on a level 4, you can promote, evolve level 5, evolve for free, play a system on game 2 or 3. It just means your level 5 costs less, which sometimes you just need to be able to turbo out. Plus, unsuspended shenanigans is broken. Let's get that out of the way. And then an extra savior just for surge potential. The 2 Chimeramon are pretty self-explanatory. Jogress is very strong in this deck, where you can play multiple level 4 bodies out. Just underrated tech card. It solves your matchup against Quartz, Blue Flare, which you don't find Solomon. Just a very powerful card to have in general. And now for level 6. 1 Jesmon, 3 Jesmon X, 3 Ganku X. No Craniamon. None in there. If you're watching this and you're taking Craniamon into Jesmon GX, stop it. Alright, just stop. You don't need it. The package initially was drop a Ganku X and then run 2 of this. I think people underrate this card and run it like they run starter deck Jesmon instead. And my problem with starter deck Jesmon, even though you get Blitz and Blitz is very good, you commit to an attack early, whereas instead of doing that, you can instead go evolve for 3 into Jess X, play out a body heat turn, and now you have the ability to swing into something unsuspended. Swinging with Blitz, whilst you can like do a full combo, do like 5 checks, you're not being proactive with the opponent's board unless it's suspended. This was a meta that sort of wanted you to be able to, at a moment's notice, deal with something on the board by either attacking into it or just sort of setting up a big blocker in GX. So, for example, Wargrey. Started that Jesmon doesn't deal with Wargrey, or like Machine for that example, or like anything that's like wants to block you. Ulforce, for example, Ulforce can just block you and then evade it, for example. In terms of why this Jesmon over the starter deck Jesmon, this one was more so toolbox. Also being able to tuck under GX is good, but toolbox in like if you have a floodgate, this gets rid of it instantly. If you have someone who has bricked and is evolving like on the board, you can be very mean to them, just going evolve for like 4, evolve for 5 into the limited one, then warp into Jesmon and just go get rid of your level 5. You now have nothing in raising. Next turn, I'm going to crack you back with a 0 cost Jess X and then full bomb you for game. It just does like so much for you in general. It's kind of like a 4th Jessex in that regard, but a bit different. The Gankus, this is another Swings and Roundabouts card. This was teched in for Shine Grey and Mirage. Well, I say teched in. It was bumped up to 3. I did not see Shine Grey or Mirage. I did, however, see Ulfos, and this came over in Ulfos. So, again, it's one of those where I probably could have got away with it and get at 2. I think it was the right call to run it at 3 just in case you were into those problem matchups, but at the end of the day, it still sort of came good in the matchups it was relevant for. Plus, it's still a good Evo card to hold to. And then the level 7 is 3 Gems. I feel like this card is self-explanatory. Good card is good. You took whatever underneath. You go swing for ridiculous amount of DP, unless you're against Wargrey, in which case you do need to like count numbers. And you tell your opponent, I will let you know when the DP becomes relevant, which is never. I think it's Sistermons, yes. I'm just going to lay all of these out. So 2 Blocker Blank, 1 Decoy, 3 on-play Memory Gain CL, 3 on-play Evo CL, and then 1 Reboot CL. Ratios are a little bit like different from what I saw standard Jesmon builds. I think a lot of builds would like to run 2 of these and then 2 of these. I think when you're running GX, the best thing you can do is go full gas, and full gas involves going 3 memory gains, 3 unevolved memory gains. The others are sort of toolbox, like you sort of have to supplement like your other plays. Like the Reboot one, for example, Reboot's nice for GX, but it has diminishing returns if you have multiple of them out, and at the end of the day, rebooting GX only, again, it's nice, but it only deals with stats that want to attack you. If like something wants to, I don't know, delete it by effect or superior mode it, this doesn't really do anything. Similar to Blanc in that regard, Decoy was a little bit less relevant in this format. It was only really relevant against Red Hybrid and to an extent Balthamon, but not for GX, more so for your level 5s, because you could save a level 5 from dying to rage mode. But other than that, she's more so there for the draw 2, which is just good in general. Blocker was a bit more relevant because there was a lot of, like, again, Shine Grey, Mirage, all want to attack you, and DP reduce or bounce you. Blocker Blank with Ganku X just means you set up a nice strong board, defensive board, that next turn you can do something against them too. So like they can't just sort of kill you in one go. So that's why I sort of opted for the 2-man. But like the 3 and 3 of the memory gain seals I thought were always relevant. There was like never a time I was never happy to see it. And then finally, offense trading lights from Master Cycle. Not really much to say about this. Good card is good. Search 3, add 1. The rest are resources for later, and then you evolve for 1. And that is the build. Matchups. Round 1 was against Jellymon. Jellymon, it was a little bit scary at first, game 1, because he kind of goes, I'm very slow sort of getting out, and he is like threatening game with auto-respond deletions and stuff. I think I find a way to get a GX on board and a series of blockers, and he only has Prop Craniamon and something else, so even though he has plenty of memory to play with, he doesn't have enough to sort of get 3 blockers and then survive mid turn. Game 2, I just sort of like, I promote relatively early. I find a board that is like Jesmon X with the limited savior, and then next turn I go GX, swing and suspend, keep turn, swing and suspend, and then I have enough body that will swing the game. So that was a pretty quick game 2. Machinedramon was round 2, which is kind of great matchup, honestly. Game 1, I turned 2 GX in, which he wasn't too happy about, but then he won in the end, so, you know. But yeah, game 2 and 3, there's not really much to say other than once Chaos Dramon comes out, it's a bit grim. But yeah, I saw both Chimeramons in Security game 2, which would have helped. But yeah, it's just one of those. Machinedramon's just not much of in general. Game 3 was Blue Flare. I was despairing at this point because Machinedramon into Blue Flare is awful. Even more so when I go game 1, play a rookie because I play Search rookie because I have no rookies in hand. Turn 2, forget to Evo, swing, hit an Ice Wall, pass turn. At that point, it's like, yeah, well, we can just go to game 2 at this point. I'm not going back. Games 2 and 3, I find Solo on, which Solo's the matchup. The only answer they have to that is, I think, Cyber Decker Launcher, one that bottom deck something. Yeah. But the one time they found it, I found Ganku X before they could bottom deck it. So I go Ganku X. He's saw writing my board like 2 or 3 times per game. But I find a Ganku X, which just stops it from being bottom decked, and then at that point he just has no way to get through my blockers, and I'm wide enough that I'm winning next turn anyway. That was round 3. Round 4, which was just before the break, was against Ulforce, which is where Ganku sort of came in clutch. Game 1, I find like all 3 of my Gankus. So I go Ganku promote, and then the next turn GX into another Ganku tucked. Then a turn after that, it's Jogres into a Chimeramon, and then evolve into Ganku. And it's like 3 turns of not being able to balance my stuff. It's just not great. Turn 2, again, I kind of rushed them, and they at that point they bottom decked 3 Renas. So it's like, unlucky, you don't have blocker, you don't have evade, I can just like ignore your Ulforce X and just swing the game. Then we had the break. It was Black Walkway X after that. Game 1 was pretty comfortable. They had a scuff line. I just cracked back. Game 2, I almost fumble. So I kind of opened with a break. I play out a level 5 for like 8 memory. That's turn 1. He like goes full stack into a Black Walkway X. But like I find my pieces eventually, and then it gets to a point where he has a Gaiamon unsuspended. I evolve Jet X, but misplay. I play the wrong sister out because that Gaiamon is 15, my Jet X is 30. So I have to crash into it by playing the memory gain Sistermon, which is plus 2k. They crash. I put out another body, but I am cresting lethal at that point. They promote. They evolve into the starter deck Greymon blocker, and then they're like struggling for ages, and then they go, I've only got this one play, and they drop a Hades Force, and I go, you do not have a red source, and they skip. Which is unfortunate. They did have a red source before, but yeah. At that point, I felt like the game was won. Game 6 was a wash. I played into Hunters. I think I just got high roll twice. The game was overturned 3 twice. I think the one main misplay I made was promoting and getting rid of one of their Shoutouts King versions with a Savior, looking for a level 6. I didn't find one. They superior mod me in return, and it's like, nah. And then game 2, they just found everything. Like they were threatening lethal by turn 3, and they had the superior mod in hand. It didn't help that I swung into a Clockmaker with 1 check, and they found it anyway. But it's one of those. And then the last round was Belphemon. That was actually kind of scary, because Belphemon's a matchup that I'm pretty comfortable with. The idea is that you just put out a Warp rookie, and they can't deal with it because they don't deal with it until Rage mode. Well, they were running the Ogremon, which was like on play, pitch a card to delete a body. I'm not sure which one that is off the top of my head, but that kind of messes with my game plan because at any moment they can, for 5 costs, but you drop it, delete a body, and I'm like, well, now I only have 1 attack without finding Chimeramon. But game 1 they find Belphemon super early. I'm talking like turn 2. But they run out of cards. So it gets to a point where they have a sleep mode, but they have no cards in hand. They can't negate the attack. So it's like, unlucky. Game 2, they find like the nuts again. I kind of open a bit slowly. I think I opened with 5 level 4s, which didn't help. And then yeah, they were like just very good at clearing my board. And then Gift of Darkness into GX, which just kills it. Game 3, I had to make a big decision on either Chimeraing on board or just playing it safe and evolving and raising. I play it safe. They do Rage mode shenanigans because my board gets wiped, but they don't have another sleep mode. So I promote crackback and then win from that. And those are pretty much my matchups. I ended up going 5-2. Like I said, came 22nd out of 185. I'm a bit gutted not to make top 16, but it just means I need to work harder next time.
All right, well, thank you very much for the list showing. I mean, best placing Jesmon in the venue of the day.
We take those.
It's literally you and Jamie. The diff starts literally from the eggs.
Quite literally, yeah.
Yeah, and also read your cards, don't put Craniamon on the deck, it's trash. All that good stuff. Any other shout outs you want to give out?
So definitely shout out to the fanboy lot. This past year has been amazing. Definitely would not be where I am now without you guys' support. Shout out to my brother who came 21st. That was his first big main event as well, and he was a little bit skeptical on what he's picking. He changed his deck list twice on the day. He changed it once on the train there, and 15 minutes before the deck list closed, he ended up on Shine Grey in the end. But yeah, he was very happy to go, and he enjoyed it as well. So big shout out to that, and once again shout out to Caitlin Mariel Arts. Again, unfortunately couldn't use the artwork in the in the tournament, but the sleeve work is fantastic. The artwork is amazing. I've been using it pretty much every other local that I can. Yeah, it's just very nice to work, and just grateful to be the Jesmon player in this region at the very least.
All right, sick. Good stuff, Tom.